Okay, so 1 through what we're doing today, we're going to add and subtract. This should all be things that you've done quite extensively other years. It just kind of boils about 12 7th grade math lessons into like one day. Or maybe a couple Algebra 1 lessons into one day. So we'll start off with the first 5 and then we'll pause and compare notes to make sure we're on a good track with adding. But before we do that, just to make sure people have the right thought. If you add 2 positives, what's the ruling on that? You get a positive and you add. If you're at all unsure about that, write that down somewhere. Positive plus positive makes positive, and you add. There's not a quiz on that tomorrow, but that's just the way that adding works. Positives plus positives make positives, you add. How about negatives plus negatives? What's the ruling on that?
Negative.
Get a negative,
Yes.
and you still add. So you could summarize those rules to say if the signs are the same, keep it and add. So what about if the signs are different? Depends on the bigger sign wins, and it's subtraction. So if you're going to add a negative and a positive, who's bigger is the winner to decide negative or positivity, and then we subtract. So let's do that 5 times. So first 5, if you didn't do that yet on this paper, go ahead and first 5, add, and then we'll get somebody to give us all 5 answers in about 30 seconds. A lot of people got a head start during the quiz, and it's hard for me to see from here, so I'll just ask once in a while, does anybody need more time on first 5? Somebody hit us up with answers then to first 5?
First one's 9, I hope. And then the second one's 3, and then negative 3. Then, I don't even know what it. But then after that, it's negative 9, 0.
I agree, we're 5 for 5. So 1 should be positive 9, 2 is positive 3, 3 is negative 3, 4 is negative 9, 5 is going to be 0. Does anybody need help with the basic add rules as long as I stick to whole numbers? Okay, subtract is different. So what's one thing that's possible when we subtract? Somebody remind us of one scenario from subtracting life.
Minus 1 makes plus.
2 minuses in a row make a plus. So let's do all of those first. Where do you see 2 minuses in a row making a plus? What's
7.
7?
8.
Not 8.
9.
9.
10.
10. 12. 13. 15. Let's take those on. So 7, if you take the 2 minuses in the middle and like turn them into one big plus, then you're just doing the same thing you did on 1 to 5. It's just an adding problem. You turn those minuses into a plus, do an adding problem. So let's take on 7, 9, 10, 12, 13, 15 with that idea. Seven, 9, 10, 12, 13, 15. For sure, I can see people still going, so I'll just wait for a little bit more. This will be a non-calculator homework. This should be a non-calculator right now mode. We'll brain activity on this. When we take the quiz, it'll be a non-calculator quiz. I have the quiz on 2 pieces of paper. I'll give you a piece of paper with problems like this and say no calculator allowed, and then I'll trade you papers and we'll do calculator on for like half the quiz and the calculator off for half the quiz. Homework tonight, try to rehearse it with no calculator. Anybody need some time to work the 7, 9, 10, 12, 13, 15 club at all? Okay, then let's squat another scenario, some of the other problems. What's another scenario other than the minus minus made plus scenario?
Negative. Oh, yeah, negative minus a positive equals a bigger negative.
That's true. A negative minus a positive makes a bigger negative. Like if you're already at negative 4 degrees outside, when the temperature drops another 8 degrees, you're headed deeper into the negative zone where the size, the value of the numbers is getting bigger. Now, in reality, math reality, where are the bigger numbers, right or left?
Right.
To the right. So I don't mean bigger in like a you prefer it sense. I mean bigger in a value, an absolute value size. So if you're already at a negative and you subtract a positive, you're going to get a bigger negative valued number. You're going deeper into the pit. It's like your football team already lost 4 yards and then you lost more yards. Like you're just going deeper and deeper into the hole at that point. So where do we see those? It's not in any of the ones we said, but where do you see a negative minus a positive kind of question? 6 does. 8 does.
17.
17 does. So let's take those on. So 6, 8, 17, let's take those out. See a lot of pencils going, so I'll just check. Do you need more time? Anybody need more time? Okay, so the ones that are blank is a different scenario. It's the simplest of the scenarios. What are we left with now?
Let's see.
Positive minus positive. So positive minus positive might be a kindergarten question, depending. What do we do about positive minus positive? Sometimes it's kindergarten, sometimes it's like 4th grade. How does it determine?
Subtract.
We always subtract them.
Negative if the first one is less.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a positive minus a positive is only a positive if the first number is bigger. So if you're looking at the missing problems and you see positive minus positive with first number bigger, that stays positive. That's like kindergarten, maybe 1st grade. If you see positive minus positive and the second number's bigger, that's probably like 3rd grade. You started to see that, 4th grade, something like that. You still subtract, but you go negative answer. If they're the same size, what's going to happen if they're the same size? Is 0. That's back to maybe kindergarten also. Anybody need any time on the subtract by front? Okay, some subtract genius then to see if you can take us 12 for 12 on the starting at 6. Just roll through it. Anybody feeling? Yeah.
Negative 9.
Go all the way through and then I'll tell you if I like all 12 or not.
So negative 9, 9, negative 9, 12, negative 3, negative 3, 3, 0, 3, 9, 0, negative 4.
12 for 12, I agree with all of those. If you had missed one, I'd have just let somebody else jump in and see if they could spot it. But 12 for 12 there. Negative 9 is 6, then positive 9, then negative 9 again, then 12, then negative 3, then negative 3 again, then 3 again, 0, 3 again, positive 9, 0 again, and negative 12. Does anybody need assistance on the front with any of those making the magic happen? Okay, to the back, let me go to the decimal zone first. People like decimals better than fractions. So let's go 22 to 25 first. If I start to work decimals in, what's the key thing in working with decimal like add subtract?
Move them over.
Disagree.
Make sure they're lined up.
Line them up. So 22, 23, 24, 25, we want to build the numbers into like a stack. You want to line them up. When you line them up, it's better to put the bigger number always on the top for the purposes of subtraction. If you're adding, it doesn't matter. But if you want to always stack bigger number on top of smaller number, that's going to probably help out. And when you get decimals, it's based on the place. So like for 22, the 3 and 3.1 makes that bigger. For 23, the 3 and 3.67 makes that bigger. The 3 and 3.67 makes the 24's number bigger. The 3 on number 25 makes the 3.19 bigger. Whatever number's bigger, I put it on top of your stack. When you stack the numbers, line up the decimals, and keep the decimals lined up. Other than that, are the rules the same about the whole positive, positive, negative, all that? Yeah, it's the same rules. It's just you've got to line the decimals up to do it. So 22 to 25, let's take those on. We'll compare notes then, I don't know, 60 seconds, 2 minutes, something like that, however long it takes on 22 to 25. Definitely people still going, so we'll wait a little bit more, no big rush. If you are done decimals and you feel like a fraction genius, you could start to take on the fractions. If you're feeling like you need a fraction reminder, I'm about to give you a little fraction reminder. So that's kind of up to you, whether you want to just wait or go, whatever. I think there's still people going on the decimals, just quick hand. Are there people still going on the decimals? Anybody going on decimals yet? Okay, we'll wait a little bit. Like I said, from the front, it's hard to see exactly where people are writing, whether they're working on fractions now. .22, the way you're going to take it on is going to require a little bit of borrowing because you're going to be subtracting. 22, you should have an answer in the 1 point zone. 25 is another one that's going to require a little bit of borrowing maybe. It should be no whole numbers in 25, but decimal, blah, blah, blah kinds of answers. So if you didn't have that, you could try to track a mistake while we're going, but 25 is a subtract with borrowing, so is 22. 23, 24 are just straight out adding. Might be okay now. Is anybody still going on decimals? Quick hands. Anybody on decimal going?
Is this a time or something?
No, they're just like, I'm giving them time and then we go through the answers to make sure they know what they're doing. Just for me?
I don't know. Is that for you?
Yeah, that's for me.
I wrote a few things down.
All right.
This week? Who else is in it? She's not in your class. Ninth graders. Pardon me?
Mackenzie's in this class.
She's in.
Yeah, that's our only 2 ninth graders in here.
No. It's good to see you, kid. Check out your
Let's cruise through some answers and see if we need any tune-ups. Anybody feeling decimal great? Decimal folks out there? Go ahead. Yeah, give me all 4 and I'll tell you if I like all 4 of them.
22 is 1.7, I think, and then 3.45, then
Okay, I'm gonna go 3 out of 4. He's 3 for 4. Which one do you want to change? I agree. That's the one. 22 is 1.7, positive. 23 is negative 3.693. 24 is positive 5.07. 25 is negative. And I don't care if you write zeros before the decimals or not. If you write 0.48, that's fine. If you just write the 0.48, that's fine. I tend to just write the 0.48. I tend not to write that 0 if I don't need it. But if you like it, that's fine. Does anybody need help with 1.7, negative 3.693, 5.07, or negative 0.48? Anybody need guidance? Okay, let me give you some fraction guidance, because in a group of 20 people, I'm sure somebody is going to need this reminder, so let me give you a little reminder before we take this on. So I haven't committed yet to negative, positive, add, subtract. It doesn't matter. If you're doing anything with fractions, add or subtract, you're going to have to make a common denominator. With 5 and 6, we would choose 30, because 5 and 6 go into 30. So that would be move 1, pick a common denominator. Then in fraction life, if you're going to change the bottom, you have to change the top. If you had our school for 7th grade, our book called this the name changer machine. So here, this got multiplied by 6, so you multiply the top by 6, it's now 18. This got multiplied by a different number. This got multiplied by 5, so this top becomes 25. That's what adding and subtracting problems all have in common. 18 to 21 on this worksheet. You're going to have to make new bottoms, so you're going to have to change the tops. Then it's a question of what rule you encountered. So, I don't know, you tell me, you want this to be positive or negative?
Negative.
Negative, so this would still be negative. Do you want to add or subtract? Add. So this would still be add. Do you want the second one to be positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive. So if this was positive, this is still positive. Now we have to think about the rules from the front. What's the adding rule when they're different?
Subtract.
Subtract and who's bigger. So it's still 30. Subtract and who's bigger, this would turn out to be positive 7. But we could have had a lot of scenarios happen. We did that by randomness, okay? We could have done any of the rule combos. But once you get your fractions figured out, then worry about the rule combos. Don't worry about those up front. So 18 to 21, take a couple minutes, and we'll get some fraction genius to hopefully give us some answers in a couple minutes. Once you're done with the fraction parts, find your page 9 and find page 9 in your book. We'll go through the page 9 answers in just a minute. Maybe I should have cut some of the dead wait time out of the video. Nah, I mean, we've recorded it that way so far, so I think we just let it roll. But tomorrow we'll do the lesson a similar way. Maybe tomorrow, during all the times where I'm just waiting around, maybe cut that out. So if somebody's watching it at home, they can just pause the video. So they don't, live, they need the wait time, but the video people, they don't need the wait time, they got a pause button.
All right.
I guess they also have a fast forward button too, though, so they can skip the wait time.
Yeah. So I won't get to hear this amazing conversation.
No, they wouldn't get to hear the amazing conversation and your amazing voice now captured on film. They
Hi, YouTube.
wouldn't get to know you were there.
Shut up, Evan.
Camera.
I can tell there's people going. We'll go another, I don't know, minute or so. I will say this, if you're done with all four, 2 of the answers are proper fractions, meaning the top is smaller. 2 of the answers are improper fractions, meaning the top is bigger. In here, improper fractions are perfectly acceptable. If you lived through my 7th grade with me, if you had something like 13 tenths, I always wanted you to make that 1 3/10. I don't care anymore. So whether you leave impropers or make mixed, it's now, hey, whatever in our life together. But 2 propers, 2 impropers. I'll also say 3 of them are negative, 1 are positive. So if you have any misfit answers, you can track them while people continue to work. But there's 2 impropers, 2 propers, and there's 3 negative, 1 positive. Anybody need a minute still? Okay, let's hit it. So anybody have 3 negatives and 2 impropers in your combo? What do you think?
2 over 21, negative 59 over 40, negative 1 over 24, and negative 68 over 55.
4 for 4. So 18 is positive, 2 over 21. 19 is negative, 59 over 40. 20 is negative, 1 over 24. 21 is negative, 68 over 55. And that's a win. Does anybody need some guidance on the fractions, making the magic happen there?
What was 19?
19 was negative 59 over 40. You okay on that? Anybody there? Homework off of this will be page 14. The syllabus will have the numbers. Again, no calculators on that, just kind of doing it the old-fashioned way. Show a little bit of work on some of the bigger ones that you can't do in your head, maybe. If this were your paper, no work would be shown on the front. But on the back, if you just needed to write new fractions and common denominators and stacks of numbers, like the homework should look about how the notes just look. Page 9, let's go through answers quickest way possible, which is probably take a volunteer and just let them run. So anybody on page 9 feel good about number 1, and you can just run us with answers as far as you can run us. Go ahead. Number 1, what do you think? 54 is true. 47 is true. 91 is true. 31 is true. 103 is true. 92 is true. Flipping a page. Negative 4 is true. 8 is true. Negative 17 is true. 12 is true. Negative 6. Negative 26. Disagree, but that was a nice burst. Anybody 13? Yeah. Negative 15 is true. Negative 3, keep rolling. 4, 23, 9, 11, 2/3, 0.4, 0, 18, all true, keep going. 23, something happened there on 23. Yeah, go ahead. 18 again, 2 in a row were 18, that's true.
115.
Not one, oh, I see, oh, yeah, they deceived me. I was going to say you were wrong. The book started a number this way, so if you went in the wrong direction, I don't blame you. I just started to. But yeah, 24 is 115, but you might have a 115 somewhere later if you kept going across and the book started going down instead of across. Go again?
30.
30 is true. 19 is true. 12 is true.
42.
Disagree with 42, but that was a nice run. 28, jump in, somebody.
Is it 20?
It is 20.
And then
29?
5 plus this absolute value of x.
Yeah, who's in bars? Everything or just a little
Just the
bit?
X.
Just the X. 5 plus X, just the X in bars, that's true.
Now, for 30, I think I wrote this wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's like in bars, negative x plus the absolute value of x.
The whole thing's in bars?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll disagree with that. Yeah,
Negative x plus x, but the x is just a negative.
yeah, it's negative X by itself, plus by itself, and then there's an X that's in bars. Only that last X would go into bars. 31?
X minus y all in bars.
X minus Y all in bars is true.
Yeah.
Okay, 32, anybody? Yeah. I was going to her, sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm trying to just do head nods because I try not to use names on the stuff I record, but.
Negative outside 2x in bars.
Yeah, negative in the beginning, and then in bars after the negative 2x, but the negative's not in the bars. 33.
X plus y all in bars.
X plus y all in bars is true.
X in bars plus outside y in bars.
Yeah, there's an x in its own set of bars, a plus that's not in bars at all, and then a y that's in a second set of bars. That's true. 35.
X minus y in bars outside greater than 5.
That's true. X minus y in one set of bars, all of it. Then a greater than, that's this one, that's not in the bars at all. And then a lonely 5 that's not in bars. 36.
X in bars and then outside equals 7.
Yep, x is in bars, and then it equals 7 that's not in bars.
3 outside x in bars equals 8.
That's true. There's a 3x equals 8, and only the x is in bars. That's true. Last one.
X plus y in bars less than root 2.
That is correct. X plus y is all in bars, and then nothing else is. There's a less than, which I'm holding up now, and then a root 2. So that was a quick way to pound through the answers. Then let's double back. Let's go first. Does anybody need a repeat of anything, especially the 23 to 28, where you might have numbered them differently than the book did?
What was number 2?
Number 2 was 47. Calculator was 100% fine to use on any of that if you needed it. The less you use it though, the sharper your brain will get. I leave that choice to you on that page. Yeah.
What was 32?
32 was a negative that wasn't in bars, and then 2x is in bars. Anybody need repeats? 42, 32? Which one did you say?
42.
No, we only went to 38. Anybody else a repeat anything? Okay, more importantly, does anybody have something that went wrong and you're like, wait a minute, what? Any, hey, wait a minute kind of questions on that page? Okay.
I'm sorry, can you repeat 38?
38 was x plus y is in bars. Then there's a less than sign, and then square root of 2 at the end. Anybody else? Wait, how do I do this? Let's real quick look back to your page 5 that I gave you back at the beginning of the period. I don't want to read every answer for that, but let me hit a couple things just to make sure you were on the right track with that. We didn't have time for that from Friday. So if you can find your page 5, number 1 should have had 2 answers, 2 and 14. Number 2 should have had 3 answers, 0, 2, and 14. 3 should have been all the numbers, so if it's my homework paper, I just write all the numbers because I don't want to write them all out. It's up to you. 4 had 5 answers, a -5, a 0, a 2, a -3, and a 14. Does anybody need help on those, knowing what type of number was what, based on that? 5 to 12, I can't really tell you what the answers are because everybody could have different fractions, but what you should have had is 2 fractions for each, but I could help people if they're stuck. 13, you probably got them either all right or all wrong if you divided in the wrong order. So if 13 has 0.375 and 14 has 0.28, you probably divided right and you're probably fine. If you didn't get those right, you probably divided it backwards every time. 16, I'll say you should have one number under a bar. There should be a 6 that's under a bar because it has a short pattern. 17 and 18 should both have 6 numbers under the bar because there's a 6-digit repeat pattern. And I'll also let you know you can't trust your calculator. If your calculator says this, your calculator lied to you, sort of. Why did your calculator lie to you, sort of? It rounded. So this was really a 6. The rule for rounding is to look ahead and see there's another 6. And then 6s make you round up. So if you're ever looking at your paper or at your screen and you see this, is that a repeater or a non-repeater? It's a repeat. Why does it look like a non-repeat?
Because it rounded it.
Because it gets 1.3.
Because the 3, you want it to be a 2. But if it's going to run out of calculator screen space, it's going to see what's coming, and the 8 makes the 2 be a 3. So if that fooled you, don't let that fool you again. 17 and 18 should have 6-digit repeat patterns. The pattern on this would be 142857. Because when we got to this, it's another 857. It just ran out of screen to show you the 142857. 21, I can't really tell you what fraction you should have, but I will tell you, make sure if the problem is negative, that your answer is still negative. So on 22, 3, 4, 5, 6, don't forget the negative. That'll blast some people on the quiz. Another thing to tell you on that is that mixed numbers aren't okay. So if 21, you had 2 and 7/10, that isn't what we want. We want to go 27/10. We do want impropers, not mixeds on that. 29 should have had a list of 3, a 3/17, a negative root 25 is doable, and the 12.33333, because that did repeat. 30 should have 2 numbers, the root 42, and then the 4-point thing that does not repeat. Those would have been the 2 for 30. 31 is just greater than less than, so we're probably fine. 39 is pretty open-ended, so I can't really tell you the answers to those, what they are. Everybody would have a different list. But did anybody back from page 5 spill more into 6? Anything on that you're like, hey, wait a minute, I don't get what you're talking about? Anything from those? We're 2 days away from a quiz. Tomorrow will be a 1-4 lesson on multiply divide, very much will resemble today, just with multiply divide rules. And then the day after that, we'll take a quiz that has like all 4 homeworks, jam it together. We'll take a problem quiz 2 days from now, which is Thursday. So that's all I've got. So what I need from you is the page, if you did it, that page 9 that spilled into 10. Make sure name's there, send down. If you have any kind of like email papers that you got signed, I would need those. And that's probably it for that.